Okay.
Go ahead, John, we'll start off with you.
Did you want to approve the
Tucker's not coming in.
We'll wait on that, don't put it through.
You want to put him, oh, you got him first, you know.
But, well,
I'll make
we
the
have
motion to approve the
Thank you.
agenda minutes and liquor license for who?
The liquor license and ownership license is for the golf course, not the golf course, the renewal.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda minutes as received, and also to approve the renewal of the Thunder Golf Course liquor license. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now John, you're up.
Well, thanks for allowing me to come in today. Evidently scheduled for Jim did not work out, so we were the two that were designated to come in to represent the compensation committee this morning, and just kind of going through some of the notes that I made. In addition, besides our recommendation, there were two notes that I'll reference that we went through also. But going back and just looking through the 331.905 and 331.907, the County Compensation Board shall prepare a compensation schedule for the elected county officers for the succeeding fiscal year. A recommendation compensation schedule requires a majority vote of the membership of the County Compensation Board. Our unanimous vote of 7 yes and no negatives that we recommend a 3% across the board increase for the fiscal 2021 year. Additionally, the County Compensation Committee requests going forward that the finance information be received in our board packets, and I know that it's tough to have year end, but even if it's through the first 11 months, just something additional for us to work from. Sometimes we have to ask the question, how are we doing? And that might help to have it in the packet for the board members to work from. Secondly, the correspondence back to the committee after the decision has been reached by the board of supervisors, whether it was what was approved, whether it was our recommendation or changes that were made, if that's possible, to get back to the compensation committee, whether it's passed off to one of us and we can reflect, or whether it goes to all 7, that would be greatly appreciated. And kind of a footnote before I go into the other items is our committee meets once a year to make this compensation recommendation, and not one member or any number of members of this committee can unofficially or officially make any additional recommendations to the Board of Supervisors other than what our committee voted on and passed at our meeting on January 6, 2021. Bullet points just to reflect on our decision and why we want to continue to stay fiscally responsible as best we understand the county's current financial situation. And even though the big picture year-end numbers are not in, rewarding loyalty and performance to all elected officials during a tough year, remaining mindful of the fiscal crisis for the entire global economy, making some attempts to remain competitive with other counties in the state of Iowa, and keeping pace with the 3% increase of the union, which I believe has for the next 2 years in their contract. So those were some of the conversation points that we had. In addition, we usually, after the meeting, will poll the 7 members just to see if there are additional items, and so that was kind of a combination of what we would add. So back to what I'm here for, and I would field any questions, is that it was unanimous vote for a 3% across the board increase for 2021. So any questions, comments for me individually making the presentation to the board of directors today?
Well, I really appreciate the time and effort that you people put into this. It's something I feel is important because he gives us some guidelines to go by. We have a group that comes in here from all parts of the county, all types of working places and things. To have them sit and understand what we're gonna have to go through here in the next 6 weeks as far as getting the budget put together, I really appreciate it. And on a sour note, I received phone calls from 2 legislators over the weekend that Polk County is going to bring in legislation to do away with the comp board because
Some of the bigger counties.
It doesn't work.
that's just it.
Right.
Why can't we have our own? What I've discussed this with Isaac and stuff. I says, if they don't want to have one, let them throw it out. Why does it have to be a state? You know. Yeah. I says, if we want to have a comp board in Montgomery County, Fremont County, or any other county wants to have one, why can't we run under home rule?
It's hard enough.
They always
It's
want to make
irritating
things
that,
worse for everybody else.
and what it amounts to up there is, you got people that's, it's gonna use plain term, pissed off at each other. They think the sheriff would have this much of an increase every year, and they think the recorder should have this much, and I says, those people have no idea what their tax base is. They don't care. They're just there to make a friend, a better friend, and.
Well, the point is, the board still has the ability to cut it. They can't raise it what you give them, but they still have the ability to cut it if they so choose.
So no, I didn't have a good weekend with the legislators. I let them have it with both barrels on a couple of them. They says, we understand. But, you know, it's, but like I say, I really appreciate what you guys go through and,
And we will definitely get you your information. I always appreciate when you ask for things and we can get them in there ahead of time.
We don't want something that we should not have access to, but it was just an ask, so thank you. But I've appreciated over the years, the compensation committee, we come in, we listen, we look, we get the information, and we try not to ask for something that you would not approve. We don't want to throw something ridiculous and make you be the bad guys and lower or change. I'd like the addition of new members to the compensation board. We've got some great people serving on there. So thank you for allowing me time this morning, and appreciate your decision down the road. And again, for all of the areas that we had a chance to affect with our decision, I think we've got a great group here in Mills County, and appreciate everything that's going on. So thank you. I'll hit the road, Jack, and
Off to work.
yes, off to work. Venture into another one of those counties that makes decisions for small things.
well,
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks,
You bet.
John.
Have a great day. Take care. Stay safe. Have a good day.
So do we want to make a motion to accept?
We can just say, you received and we'll act upon it, I guess, maybe, or you can make a motion. I'm fine with whatever.
Whatever you write up with me. You're gonna write it anyway, Lonnie.
Well, I have to have the names in the right order, or anything there. How about a motion? Go ahead, let's do a motion. Who wants to be my motioner?
Accepted their recommendation. There's a vibrator, a mute button on
I'm thinking the jungle's coming.
But we need to talk about the 3%, that's not.
that. Oh, yeah, no.
No, it just means you received their recommendation.
And then I second
You second the motion? Okay, the motion made and seconded that the county board of supervisors, received the recommendation of the top board, 3% increase for the year of 2021. However, the
That works.
secretary puts it in the minutes. All those in favor? Aye. would like to be first? Julie or Larry?
I'm gonna share with you some COVID vaccine updates, and I'd like to share some public, let me do directly, apologize, I gave you directly. Audio. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope most of them.
I'm not clear. Oh, no, I'm going. Oh, I've got that.
Just a quick review of the weekly report on number of COVID cases in Mills County. During the last reporting period, we had 23 new positive cases, for a total of 1,362 positive cases over time in Mills County. 1,226 of those individuals are considered recovered, and the total number tested is 6,846. Our 14-day positivity rate has gone down from last week. It was 13.5, and this week it is 10.4. You can see how the age ranges and percentage confirmed cases breaks down, and then we continue to share with the public the zip code information on positive cases. We are trending down again a little bit over time, so that's good to see with our positivity rate. Any questions on that? It's amazing what that vaccine is falling, and the numbers are going down. They are, whether it's true or not, it's just falling. They are going down. We'll continue to track that. The next piece of document that I want to share with you, Larry has the latest information on the phase 1B vaccines in Mills County. This went to press last night, I think, Larry. And we have a typo in there, so we'll make a correction. The thing is mentioned twice. Part of the reason why we wanted to get this information out is we are just fielding phone calls like you wouldn't believe. You know, the word is out that 1B will start around the 1st of February, and we just have phone calls from morning till night and through the night of people who want to get on a wait list. We were wanting to wait until Monday to establish that wait list, but it takes longer to explain to people why we don't have a wait list than to just take their number and put in the wait list form. So,
Agree.
we did start the wait list yesterday, and we have reached out, we have a wait list with all of our schools, and now we're doing it with the general public. We have a dedicated line. The line will be open Monday through Friday from 11 to 2, and we'll take that information. So around the 1st of February, we do know for sure that the following individuals will be included in the 1B phase. You'll see that it's persons aged 75 and older. You'll notice that the CDC has recommended that phase 1B be 65 and older. Iowa is not able to go to that 65 level because if we went down to the 65 level, that'd be 500,000 extra people. We don't have that much vaccine at the state level. We don't expect that much vaccine to come to Iowa, and so we are having to stay at that age 75 and older. 1B will include our first responders, which is firefighters, police officers, and social workers. It will include all school staff. It will include individuals that are living at home with disabilities who are dependent on staff care and their staff. Any individuals and staff living or working in any sort of congregate work or living scenario. And there you see I have PK is down there twice, so we need to make that correction. It includes inspectors responsible for health, life, and safety. And then you notice that it was included at the state level that government officials in state business at the Iowa Capitol during the legislative session are included in the 1B phase. Okay. The problem that we have right now.
See, this is like, we just stated in February, if this category should be going somewhere else and getting shot. I mean, you go to another county and get shots, you mentioned that before, Julie. Because that question was asked me every once in a while, and saying, hey, if we're eligible, like you're saying, 5 or over, is it, would my family be able to get a shot because they live closer to the other county?
Right. Well, and we're in a very fluid situation. So I will tell you with the 1A population, we have enough vaccine. Come and get it. We want to get shots in the groups.
Are you still sitting on?
No, we're pushing it out
Good,
as fast as we can.
we're still sitting on
Um,
quite a bit.
If you can go to the website, do you have the ability to pull up the website? to it. It's the coronavirus Iowa website.
It's called,
Coronavirus Iowa schools. It should, coronavirus Iowa, that top one. Yeah. Vaccine administration. This is updated every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Got mixed up yesterday because of the holiday.
Well, it looks like they did update it yesterday. So you can see how many total vaccines have been administered in Iowa, how many of those vaccines are to Iowa residents. And if you scroll down a little, you can see how many of the Moderna, that's us. Now you can look at Mills County, 564 residents have received the vaccine. And so if you scroll down one more, it'll tell you 507. So we've administered 507 vaccines. And then if you scroll down one more,
If those charts you must read to me, if I just comment
On
like
there
that, it'd be a little confusing.
so the
Yeah.
one there is that means one person has had both doses,
And that hasn't
including the booster.
Do you believe that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have to wait 28 days.
Oh.
So we give the first vaccine, we wait 28 days to get the second one. That will, we have it today, no, Wednesday. Tomorrow will be the first day that you'll see us doing a booster shot to our first round of people. So one person in Mills County has gotten the second shot. They might have gotten it over the county
They
line.
got
Oh,
it
yeah,
across.
it
they get
Okay,
that
so-
across the road.
Okay, the 564 residents have received it, but only 507 vaccines. Is that,
So we've given 500, was it 564? We've given 564 vaccines, but 507 of them are from this. So we've given vaccines outside of this county, but you can see the percentage. And I didn't look at it yesterday or Friday, but before then, we were running 86% of our vaccines for in Mills County homes and Mills County people. Now, as we transition to 1B, and there really will be a vaccine shortage, we really only want to do Mills County. And so when we take that wait list or when we reach out to schedule, we will be asking people if they live in Mills County.
You're gonna have one exception to that. And I think some of these numbers, because, you know, they did healthcare, which EMS, there's some EMS in the county that work here full time that don't live here. And that, some of your numbers are that, and you're gonna have that law enforcement. You're gonna have a few law enforcement that I know is one or two are not the right officer.
So we're saying live.
So you'll have an exception here and there, but
Sure.
it'll be mostly for a specialized group. So,
great.
Will cloud, snow plows be considered ground responders?
Supervisor.
in fact, the question came up about
Yeah,
first
they're gonna be
responders.
the last two.
Our first responders to respond in rooms are cloud.
okay.
By definition, the federal state, right now, this argument I have in the state is that let's not include, now remember, that's an example that came right off the state, it says firefighters, it's first responders, and like, that's why I asked you about jailers and my dispatcher, they are public safety, federal and state, and they're the first responders, so, I know that the National Number Association was gonna get government stuff on it, because they need to clarify that.
Right.
Thanks.
Yes.
And we get into a lot of fine details. For example, if you're a librarian at a school, we can vaccinate you with 1B. If you're a librarian for the city, you don't fit in this. Where we want to focus though really is you have to see the big picture. So we want to get the highest risk, most vulnerable people who are having the most contact vaccinated first. That should be the priority for us.
I don't even know what it is. Can you do state number?
As far as public health is concerned, we thought we were moving on Friday, and there were blizzard conditions, and we did not move on Friday. However, our internet and our phones moved on Friday. We didn't. Okay,
So
so
they're ready to rock and
we
roll?
are living out of suitcases at both buildings. Today, we are actually moving, we have our movers coming in today. We anticipate that it'll be a 2-day move, it'll be today
Disarray.
disarray. It, I have tired staff, and we need to just be gearing up for some big business right now. We do have the Shopko building, set up. I don't know who those standing curtains belong to.
They stay in the
From you?
building. They're great.
Those are amazing. So, we do have that set up. We are gonna do all things on the Shopko building. Maybe people want to turn that on, but they're gonna not. And it's just the side of the building, the edge of it.
Well, we cleaned what
It's
we
cleaner
could
than
in
it
the
was,
front,
right?
yeah. I mean, yeah, it took her like 6 hours to get what she did, and we cleaned that kitchen, where the old pharmacy was, and then just kind of the front part, because that's basically where we were, and we cleaned the bathrooms.
We are grateful to get what we got. That's a great site that we can get. We're gonna start clinics there.
Like I
Julie,
said,
that's a great spot. It is. The booster clinics will start tomorrow's Wednesday.
Do you have a big sign or something?
We are working with, we do have signage, and we're probably gonna order more signage. I want you to know that I don't have enough staff to do what we're gonna be tasked with in this short period of time. We are, getting nurses onboarded. I am gonna have
to help give it shots.
to actually get the shots, yes. I'm gonna have an intern nurse, she's already working on her BSN, so she'll be another set of hands.
Hey, maybe you should let that kid see if she's retired now. She retired last Friday.
I will do that. I also am hiring a couple of other key positions, and they're just gonna be PRN, we're just gonna use them when we need them, we're gonna do what we can to get by, and I'm looking for a large volunteer pool. I don't know when we're ever gonna get enough vaccine to really do a really large scale. I don't know if we're gonna get 385 for the week or something.
What do you think, get 600, so you get one shipment, one more 300?
And this Monday, we got notice from the Health Alert Network, and we were gonna get more, and all we got notified is we're gonna use it. So, we're at a little bit of a standstill, and those booster shots, we have to sit on those, right? So they're dedicated to the second round after the 28 days.
It's just too bad they didn't do something like the polios. Give them a sugar cube. You know, they didn't worry about shots, just give that to the body, not her own. But they didn't ask me, so, right? Take it. They shouldn't just leave it simple.
This whole process is a frustration for the general public, and we feel those calls, and we understand it. And we are not gonna have enough vaccine, there is gonna be a vaccine shortage for a period of time. So, we'll do the best we can with what we have.
President's gonna make, he's gonna make sure that everybody has their flu
That's
overnight.
with the change in presidency, everything in public health, we're shift on a dime too. That's gonna affect how we are able to do business with our persons. I am trying to be very fiscally mindful, but there's a certain amount of expense tied to this endeavor that ultimately we will support. I'm not talking a crazy number, but we need to do what we have to do.
So as far as moving wise, the firemen are coming to
8:30 this morning.
8:30 this
They're-
morning, okay,
they're
so
on
they're
the
rocking
job.
and rolling.
They are.
That's a great idea.
Yep. And I wanna thank you, and Corey, thank you, we are thrilled to get, I mean, we will be thrilled in a couple of days when we're settled out, but that is a really beautiful location, and it is, we appreciate it.
I think they're like moving towards that.
We have a big scanner of some
Oh,
type,
plotter,
and
the old
it's
plotter.
sitting in our entryway, it is heavy as can be.
yeah. Is that water? It's the old water. We kind of used to, I don't know how many years, they're just trying to figure out there's something to do with it.
Do you
Just
want
tossing it.
heavy lifters to
You
do
know,
it
what you do with
in the
that?
basement, with a loan?
We should go down there.
We can find it
This is
somewhere
the
else
office.
to put it.
Where'd that go?
I don't really want to put it somewhere cold, but
That's where they need to do that.
I don't want it to get
You can do it in ours, but-
That's what's going on, and it is sitting out
We do,
Yes.
summer.
Yep.
A week from now will be better.
Yes, I've said that.
It's
for
kinda like
year
moving
now.
into a new house, you're gonna find things
Yeah.
that need to be better,
Yep.
different, parking different, just all costs.
Just, long-term care is quiet, very quiet right now. Schools are fairly quiet, a little better once in a while, we're seeing. And, but I think it goes back to this, are people testing, you know? And so we could have, there could be some plastic stuff going on out there, that people are filling up like various, like, flu type stuff, that their treatment is that. So you don't know. And I don't think we knew during the height of this either, that people were possibly, because the flu is timely flu too, so there's a good chance that there was an overlap there. So who really knows what the true numbers really would have been or should have been. So I think that the downward trend, just from a mental state, or mental health, you might say, is good. It's good to see that number going down, because it'll give hopefully emphasis to people to keep pushing forward. I think it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow any federal mandates that try to get pushed down in states, and in relation to masks and stuff like that, see how forceful that is. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is implemented, how it's communicated, and if there was a kickback by governors, stuff like that. It's just like the term I heard home rule, similar type thing, from a governance standpoint. So it's going to be interesting over the next 2 weeks probably to see what really happens. Vaccine piece, there was some being held in reserve, second shot. There might be a push to release that, which we may see a slight surge in Iowa, a slight surge locally, which means they could dump extra, doses on Julie. I'm worried is if you don't get a forecast until the last minute or the day of, so you don't know, how can you plan for something? Yeah.
But Julie, you're not gonna put time-wise, just, that would be so hard also, wouldn't it?
What do you mean? time?
Like, you call them and say, why don't you come in at 3, and you come in at 3:05, and just tell them you've got the vaccine, please
Well,
come in, or
Right
you
now,
are.
we are gonna try to schedule them in bundles, because we do have this thing of like, we don't want a mass crowd, at the door, we don't want a mass,
And you can only open 10, you wanna make sure you,
You gotta-
obviously you will fulfill the 10 that you have, but,
Sure.
yeah, that's probably what it's gonna be.
Because you have that, 5-6 hour window on that stuff, so if you got enough traffic, you open up the clinic, enough traffic to handle
Well,
it.
hey,
That's what
it's
any
no
vaccine-
different than going to the doctor's office, you make an appointment, you go in, you do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure people will be happy to make an appointment.
If we operate as soon as we're hoping, we can do 4 people every 5 minutes. Okay, and then we're hoping people can be in and out of the building in 20 minutes. The reason we say 20 is you gotta wait 15 minutes and make sure.
Uh-huh.
Reactions for that.
Oh,
So we want you in and out in 20 minutes, we want you in and vaccinated in 5, and we're scheduling 4 every 5 minutes.
so what you're getting now is the 2 vaccines. Are you getting any that's just gonna take the 1?
There is no one. You
That's
have,
what,
no, Moderna, you have to take 2. You get your first
of
dose.
both Pfizer and Moderna, there's
No.
both 2.
I think
Oh,
Pfizer is every
interesting.
21 days and Moderna's every 20. So 2
But we
are
are both
required.
And just curiosity, and I don't know what the deal is, somebody was saying, what happens if you go over your 28 days before you get it? Is it less
There's
than
there's a window, right? So you can go a couple of days early or a couple of days late. If you're, just get it, even if you're
Right.
not in that window, no
Right.
matter what,
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But ideally, you want it in that
We're gonna
28
put
day
these
window.
people that have to wait 20 minutes and get chairs or so.
We have chairs, spaced 6 feet apart, and the shop club building is big.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
just
the
gonna
amount of,
ask you,
the amount of space is good, so we're hoping, but as you can imagine, the number of volunteers that we're gonna need, because all surfaces are gonna have to be wiped down after every, like even if you set somewhere, we're gonna have a volunteer go and wipe things down.
How about a refuge out to some of the forage groups?
You know, I would really
Well-
appreciate that, because we need,
I mean, they could wipe down.
what, right.
Well, I was gonna suggest too, when
But during
the
week,
churches
you're
do
gonna have
they used to do the blood mobile, and there was a lot of volunteers with the Red Cross that would come, and those people would be good.
The thing about the 4-H, she doesn't bring a week, but I think we could find another group.
But I would contact Karen Archer to see if she can reach out to some of her people, because she was Red Cross, I mean, she's retired now, but, that's a group that's familiar with, you know.
Is Kathy Winslow, is she also in charge of the Red Cross anymore?
Well, nobody, they haven't been able to have a, I don't think so. Wait,
Go with schools.
yeah, I see the public schools having one, 25th or something.
Have Kathy go and see where she needs you. We will be training our volunteers to do a little bit of.
And I contacted the churches, because there's usually a elder group of, you know, ladies or whatever that help out when, like, they did have the, you know, it would go from church to church to
What are
church.
what are you looking at for help? I mean, if you volunteer, would it be like an hour shift, be like a day shift, like a week shift, or whatever? Yeah.
We would love a day shift. I'm gonna have a volunteer coordinator on board in here the next day or two, I'm gonna get that to that individual.
Volunteer for a day.
You would.
I'd like to do a week, but I don't think I can do that. I mean, it's, if I say a day and then I give you a day, could I say, yeah, I'm available to work, or maybe I can do a half day next week or something.
Yes, I guess.
402 616 0876.
All right.
Got a few more on there.
Meanwhile, we are approaching grant writing season. Fingers. You gotta shut your eyes at night, right? Oh, I dream about this at night.
We're still doing this, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand sleep is nice.
Where is that next?
So your phone line's only gonna be open 11 to 2?
This is the dedicated line if you
The
want to be on
dedicated
the
line?
wait.
Okay.
Like this phone here, right?
Yep.
I know that's gonna be curious to those people that are looking at 214,
274?
274.
Yeah, you already
So you
screwed
know
it
what
up.
they're gonna do? I put in that, last 4 digits. That's what they,
Oh, good, well, that's all you.
so they'll press 527, that's what they're doing.
You can direct them to the place. You can take their name. In your screen.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
let us know what we can help you out with.
Kind of plug your ears.
Sorry, let us know what we can help you out with. Oh, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you much. Hang in there, kiddo.
Yeah, thank you.
The only thing I got on supervisor's update, there'll be no spring school, we're gonna do it virtual.
Oh, dang.
It's because of the president of the association now, the one who's presiding, the all-powerful Carl
I was
Becker,
so
my
hoping we
nemesis.
would have gotten a spring conference.
I didn't voice my opinion, I thought, won't do it good, because everybody else
Oh,
is going with the president, and I thought, the only reason she doesn't wanna have it is because she can't drive yet. She has to find a ride. Where she at?
Delaware County.
Delaware County, which is up northeast corner to Des Moines. And home.
oh. Your grandchildren.
I know, I was very disappointed too.
Yeah, they are.
Well, and the other thing we have to do.
And we're talking the end of March.
Right.
You know, there could be a lot of vaccine gone
They're
out
going through
for by now.
certification, you're gonna be certified, you get your certificate, this and that, and now it's, all that's just gonna get thrown away.
Well, thing that we can hope for now is August, fall school. If we can keep it, well, just like we're not gonna be there, we're not gonna be there in March when we hold our dates, or the hotels hold our dates for next year.
That's
I don't wanna
right.
travel clear across the state of Iowa to Iowa City for a convention.
That's what they want you to do.
Well, that's what they're talking about.
Why?
Cedar Rapids, Iowa City,
Why?
they did mention County Club.
Whatever, so,
I don't know, how about
Might be a little
corny?
crowded over there, but it's worth it.
How about corny?
different the amount of people that show up, it's quite almost just fine.
That's sad.
Darn it, darn it, darn it.
Hey, Corey.
Okay, no one to report?
How come you're not doing any utilities? Don't want to?
I'll leave that up to the utilities.
I suppose it might be a little more present out there.
So, first item, just for discussion, I wanted to give you guys, updated engineer contract for fiscal year 22-25, so that start July 1st this year. Kept pretty much all the wording the same, just changed the dates and also the salary. So going to what and Jeff, you just had a question about the dates and salary change? So put it in front of you before I ask you to sign up for this.
Before May 22.
You have a copy of that?
Yep. So the change in salary, would be asking for a 3% raise on the 3% cost of living adjustment. So instead of $104,648 starting fiscal year 22, it'd be $108,000. And my justification for that, I'm currently the 84th out of 97th lowest paid engineer in the county in the state, which makes sense probably.
I don't know, you're the highest paid one in the county.
My brother graduated college from Iowa State. He achieved his, applied for the license test, and I took that next year. And I said, Kevin, if you retire, and I said, you ought to apply in Wilkes County. And he goes, what's Kevin make? And I said, like
Like
102,000 or something like that. And Wesley says, as an engineer in training for the DOT, he goes, I make more than that now.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta decide where you want to hang your hat, what is it you want, you know? Okay, I'm just confused, okay, so when you're saying the 3%, you're saying for 22, you wanna start with, you're
We
going,
passed
you're
the
using
3%.
you're using the 3% salary potential for this year that the board's looking at right now, and then and then you're doing a 3, and then depending on, no matter what the county gets, or you're saying that plus whatever the county gets next year, or you're just going to lock in at 3. Okay,
You're just
so,
adding this
okay, so we'll
3%.
say you're at whatever you
So
want.
if you guys agree, the 3% that they recommended,
Yeah,
I'd be at 104,600.
Oh.
I'm asking for additional.
Oh, you're wanting another 3 on top of that one.
Oh, so,
That would put me, just above what Montgomery County engineer, who has less years of service, makes. It would keep me below Cass County, who has less years of service, and I keep me below, Winnesink, Louise, Webster, all counties that have less years of service. I would still be in the lowest quarter of county engineers for salary in the state of Iowa, which I still understand, one of the younger ones. But I've also had
Aren't you the
pretty good
youngest?
experience.
Aren't you the youngest, actually?
I'm not sure,
I was
as far
thinking-
as,
I mean, age-wise.
there is,
I was thinking
There's,
tomorrow.
yeah,
There is one younger one up north somewhere, I think, maybe one of the northern
and,
counties.
and one central ones too.
Okay,
And, Ringgold down there.
oh, really? Ringgold's got a young one?
He looked young.
Oh.
Yeah, he's young.
Is he?
He had more pictures.
Well, I don't know,
Well, he's
the surgeon that did Steve's liver, he, swear to God, he looked like he was 12 years old. And he said he fit the service, so I don't know, sometimes how they look and what they really are could be two different things. It's like, you should be graduated from high school, I don't know.
But yeah,
Wow.
this little handout has, what I just told you as far as the county truck.
Is that true, that the salary survey through Isaac?
Yes, yep, so that's every.
That's what
single
you're saying, yeah, yeah.
When I was doing like averages statewide, I removed the 4 outliers, the 2 highest and the 2 lowest rates. So, just for discussion and for action at another time. I'll put it in front of you.
Did, I was gonna ask you this is not on that word, because I don't have it in front of me, but, Julie did she talk to you about doing the parking lot, their parking lot?
Yeah, must have miscommunication on my part. I told you, yeah, you'll still, the parking lot this evening. We have time to talk about it.
What about sheriff's office? They were wondering if they could get the county to do theirs, cause they spend like $4,000 on snow removal. I said,
Seriously?
I don't know, you're gonna have to ask them. They said, well, doesn't, it makes more
Well,
sense,
it's
they're all, it's a
Parking lot
county
would be easy,
business.
put the sidewalks
No,
around
they don't want
sidewalks.
sidewalks, they just want the parking lot.
Oh.
Both of them just
Well, it's a
want the
county
parking
thing.
lot. Yeah. I mean, that's,
We do a pretty good job with the fire department. I know
Yep.
other departments don't really like. They don't get them all the time.
Do we have, in one truck with flour, small truck with, one small truck with flour, that we have two?
Home sack.
I think it would make sense to try and help the county process like this in court.
Can we try to, can we get some of that back?
Oh, we especially the jail. I don't know, maybe there's a lot of
Or
money.
just administration costs, labor costs, equipment costs. So, too long ago, the department took some administration funds.
It's not, not values, they really got now long,
Gotta work together, don't we?
$100 an hour. I
Are they
think they make-
$100 an hour?
don't say that in front of them.
Oh.
Or at least,
Speaking of that,
You may not be seeing.
that's what they make from all yards too.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It is?
Buck a minute. A little, it was a buck a minute 4 or 5 years ago. It's $100 an hour.
Really?
Really,
Wow. Why aren't kids back doing that again?
I
Because that's
don't-
good money,
that
if you
is-
got
Well, I'll
your,
tell you what, there's a lot of kids that don't. It's guys that got jobs and they do it part-time and they make big money for a part-time job.
4 or 5 years on a weekend, that's $500.
Minimum or after work. Yeah, I mean, them guys in County Plus in Omaha that you see driving $110,000 pickup, get cash paid.
Wow.
Yeah.
$100 an hour.
It's not 1974 either.
That's what Amy said when the healthcare didn't get a raise. She said to the administrator, you know what? Not one raise, so when you see these figures, it's, and she got a bachelor's, she's got a master's, it's like, are you serious? She's mandated,
Have you ever gone through or heard any ruckus when counties lose their engineer and who trying to hire someone again?
how are these smaller counties Or,
They find a way to make it happen because they know it's hard to get. Nobody wants to take a job where they get their ass chewed every time it snows. Every time a sheriff can't get to someplace, he got some politics involved, no one wants an ass chewed. And they can make more money somewhere else. So, for $4,000, I think it's a no-brainer, sign it. So if we don't sign it, it'll cost us $120 and we'll go without an engineer for a year, try and find one.
well, then we can switch with Fremont, we let them use our lawyer, and then they can come up and use their engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, get down to pay.
Yeah, JD.
Get old JD to come up and
Yeah,
growl at us.
yeah, that's the best $4,000. We piss $4,000 away daily.
Oh, it's your pay this time, it's not the phone.
No, I got it on silence. All right.
Do we move on?
I mean,
Oh, okay, sorry.
I thought it, it's nice to see before the budget before, but I think we ought to do our budgets and then sit down and take a look at it, see where we're at.
Right.
Sorry with you guys.
Any action?
Keep it on the burner,
I will postpone the signing of the final pay voucher. Send in my agenda item on Wednesday, I'll certainly be ready for it. Next week, I'll, as far as general discussion, more for you, Carol, I'll send that people at our presentation, certificate for, our people
Yes,
project.
yes.
I just wanted to, it is the same number, but.
Okay, I wanted to be sure, when I saw that, I looked at, I was like, who needs to sign this? Because it's like,
I signed all three of them.
and that's what, they said, because they keep sending it to me too. And I'm like, am I supposed to sign it? No, it's just you and Lily don't need to.
So finally got the T4 project completion certificate for the 190th Street FEMA project. Get it signed and turned in. Let's see how long we have to wait for that.
What is your projection, 6 months?
We'll sit on it. We'll turn it in, we'll wait. That money will go into the FM account, which is what we witnessed. All those additional change order costs for the 190th Street project, so we'll get it. With 9 AM on transferring money from, my local funds into the account. And then, the appeal for, the bridge, I haven't really done much work on that. We'll continue to fight it.
You're gonna have to continue it, because just because.
How many times can you do that?
Oh, you can appeal it until it's, doing the biggest or appeal it.
I've talked to Iowa Homeland Security already and about strategy. I'll put some sort of bill together. I know they're big on showing that we did some maintenance on this bridge since the last bridge inspection. I don't know if we really have completed any maintenance on our bridge. So, to be honest, but I think our initial argument is that even with the stringers being down, they do not support being, before we support them, before being damaged, look like the cause us to close the bridge. And just we have to figure out the way to make them acknowledge that they understand that before being damaged, when the bridge was, that was in the 2019 flood. Had a hiccup on our little unused right of way. Here at north part of Glenwood. That little alley that goes back to Lyle's. Just can't keep. I need to get an appraiser to get independent value of it, and I've done for 2 now, and neither of them will are willing or have the time to, so.
But you, try, I don't know how,
Is that they don't,
that's it.
It sounds like a plan.
is it that they don't want to do that for it?
The first one was, I got the contract from attorney's office, and I think she did all the appraisals for the clients, and she's just too busy, she said. Even though it's okay.
She's a
No.
paper lawyer, I think. You
No.
lawyer? No. Okay. I just sent your contact.
The one, that's the one who did the updated ones.
Yeah.
But you don't want the one who did the actual appraisals.
I was gonna do Karen.
Yeah, she just did the ones that got increased.
And then the other guy said, how did he put it? Basically said that he didn't, think he could do it.
Which was
John, so that, Barrett gave me 2 other things. Contact them.
I get ready for my house. I look at man, I told her one of these kids that wouldn't be in that Friday.
Now, that is service, that's pretty awesome.
So otherwise, I'm talking about, right down there after this. Make sure, we got the letters already drafted, so once we have a pretty value, so I know what's something out, start us to get the slot.
Use it too.
I was gonna say, don't they have any appraisals?
Trade Jim first, and if Jim won't go to, Jim will give you value. He's not an appraiser, but he'll give you a certified value. See what
I'm
he says.
surprised he doesn't have somebody or is an appraiser. I mean, just,
He knows what they're worth. He doesn't
oh,
need
I
to
don't
appraise it.
disagree, but I mean, just for,
Gonna try my budget on Thursday.
I gave you a grace.
That's all I had.
Are we, up to date on the FTDG and the tap? Map up? All those roads and stuff for what we're requesting for.
So applications are due at the end of the month. I've gone back and forth for the STDG since, we get our 400,000 a year now. So the previous, county brought in the project, whatever else, so we just got 400,000. 400,000 is not a lot to get much done in a year, so I was actually thinking we could go next year's spend and we would be at the same,
So does it add, so like if you don't use your 4 this year,
Yes,
you've got
yeah.
8 next year?
so,
Are you
It takes-
sure?
It takes you 3 years to get $1 million, and it just
That-
don't make sense. It really doesn't. 400,000 won't get you the engineering on something.
Are you sure it will be there next year? Like, should you take it now and then put it
Insurance is there.
in a line item?
I
So,
don't think you can.
oh, you can't,
Can you
sit
take
on
I don't
it?
think we can do that anymore, can we? We
I
can't
have to
build
find
it
out.
up.
I just don't trust it that it's gonna be there from year to year. Is it there?
Well, there'll be 3 other counties that's PO'd then too, because you've got Mills, Pot, Harrison, and Shelby. And those 4 counties, we're all sitting there looking at $400,000
Each.
each, So,
Oh, that's how they get permission to do it. So you don't
Yeah.
submit projects and then
Yeah.
somebody gets.
we're gonna submit projects more. So,
So you don't
Put it on.
take it, Corey, it is another county use it?
no, not anymore.
Okay.
You get your.
I remember when
annual
Kevin
allotment.
said-
You don't get another nickel out of theirs.
Yeah, we used to be able to borrow from one another.
But
Well, and some people over borrowed their stuff. I mean, I wasn't a
Everybody
Pot
did it
County
one
that
time,
was
yeah.
always getting their things approved where we didn't.
Yeah,
did.
2.3 million in the hole before
Yeah.
I got here, because Kevin bought other counties do projects, and he loaded this up for First Street, L55. Yeah. Changed up how
I just think
it's allocated.
I don't
You don't
know.
trust the government, is that what you're saying?
Would that be? I'd say take it, sit on it, but if you can't do it,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's. Interesting.
Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Did we do the widening thing? Pay voucher for project? No.
Delayed till next week.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, okay, sorry.
Not quite ready.
That was what you were
I was
talking about, is
optimistic
delayed.
on that
Okay.
day. There's one item, contractor, smaller for the subtrade works. Get that resolved.
okay,
Thanks, guys.
thank you. New building's still doing okay?
Yeah.
Starting to feel like
Still
home
working
yet,
on
or not
the
quite?
hiccups out. Probably what the more thing personally is the heating is just a little wonky, and mine and Kent's office, so they came in a couple times last week and said they're in there Thursday, Friday, or this Thursday.
Oh, please, tell me it's not gonna be like the jail.
To jail or like here, I mean, we're using, the outside air comes in and you're like, it's hot in here, you go in there, you're freezing to death. I mean, it's not because of the windows, it's what's coming through the windows help, for sure.
But I still, they haven't led me to believe that it won't be resolved.
Okay,
I think it'll get resolved, otherwise, I really, any other major problems, we got SEI supposed to come in this week.
what is that?
There are key card doors, installers, security installers.
Are you guys rounding that resolution to be signed again, because Phil accidentally had the wrong date?
Oh, yeah.
I get what we're gonna start with, are you holding? Start.
So otherwise, yeah, just still packing.
Okay.
I can't wait to come down and see it.
Happy,
Yeah, well,
And how was your vacation?
it was great. It
you didn't break
was, loved
anything?
skiing.
Where'd you go?
Vail on Friday, Brentwood on Saturday, Sunday.
And then back yesterday, or?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Shannon is gonna call. I told him you wouldn't be back until Wednesday. And he's got, about the road change name. I did find something too, in another, there's a code section that deals with that as well. And I have a copy of that, I've gotta look at it. So he's wanting to change, that's the only thing that's holding him up on this project. He just wants that name changed. He wants it to be Constitution Avenue.
Constitution. And where's this at?
Yeah.
And that's holding him up for it.
I will, I've gotta go look back at that because it just popped up the other day, somebody else could question, I went, oh, bingo. So yes, I will. But he won't bother you. I gave you a couple days to treat. I said, he won't be back until Wednesday.
Let the guy that did it.
Yes, it's your buddy.
How can he read it?
Well, he's requesting it to be read.
Yeah, but
We haven't set, we found a list in our move, the approved road names that we were kind of with, so.
He goes, I know you have to have a
well,
C.
and Nakamoto,
He doesn't
Nakamoto's
like that.
names weren't on the
No.
approved list. I mean, we let him name them, but the developer names the road. Yeah, and if it's platted already, then
There is some area, I found, there is something in the code, but I've gotta look back at the section up, because it just popped out the other day. So I will give you that, I will get it for you.
yeah, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
let Nakamoto know. Craig will make us.
well, I mentioned it to Craig, or we talked the other day when they came in to talk about the TIF stuff. I think Craig's just kind of, he's,
I kind of thought, what you're saying is, if it's platted, how do you?
well, that's what we
They have
thought
to
too, and
replat
that's,
everything?
apparently that's where the code section is, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, we renamed Lambert Tour 21st Street South to Lamber or vice versa.
Yeah, I think I did see some of
Yeah,
that.
Kevin did that.
That's way back then.
Yeah, I saw a lot of interesting documents.
That
Yeah.
If I had time to
shit
look
pain in the
through,
ass.
it'd be nice, but.
Yeah, he's an asshole. And he's smarter than you, so let's accept that right now.
He's got everything ready to rock and roll, just put them trees in and all that, just sort of.
He's gonna spend $50,000 to save $600 a year.
He's a right. He's a tax slayer, or whatever, it's tax, something dog tax.
Him and
Yeah,
Ted.
they ran him out of Bellevue, that's why he's here.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Busy at the library?
Yes. We're still curbside, but that's a lot more labor intensive, so,
Right,
and, all of our contacts, everybody's through the phone, so
right.
always running for the phone. Mondays are a thing. Boy, we get slammed on Mondays.
Hi.
Please,
Good morning.
try to spread you out a little bit. You guys want to spread out more, that's fine.
Hello. Hi.
How you doing?
Well, here is the master, Carol, the master agreement that you need to sign. I've got copies here. It looks like you sign.
Thank you, thank you.
Rebecca's from Melbourne as well.
Oh, oops, sorry.
I would have.
It does look like that.
I thought Jen come in for.
Okay.
Chandler was months ago.
Sure, but
Anyway, she said she's free for awful.
does income fall?
And she swears by it.
The master of the glasses, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
my
she said
husband
it-
struggles.
Because she doesn't put candy. She has a gal has a candy trapped daughter and it looks like candy stuff.
Well,
She thinks that, and I don't know where
I've never heard of that, so there you go.
but she said it's really good.
Okay. I got them. I haven't had mine out yet.
Oh. I
One
love
piece in the state.
I really like it. That, I'm so glad we got that. Got one, the bottle filler.
There's one page inside that's not stapled yet.
Okay.
So ledger size, to get my numbers in there.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
So I threw a lot of numbers at you there. Since all of our activities with patrons are so different, I thought it'd be useful to show you what other libraries our size in this part of Iowa do. 2019 is most recent, this is from Eric Ross. But I know I haven't shown you guys those numbers before, so. City Council asked for them, I'm like, I know somebody else would like to see those.
Right, right, thank you. How's the internet in each one of your places?
Ours is great.
Yeah, yours is great and free.
And where you
He's
at?
got fiber.
Emerson?
Yes.
I'm with her for them.
It's the best.
is good, yeah.
Yeah, well, mine
Yeah,
personally,
Emerson
my
is
house is not good,
How
but
much is it, okay, is it good?
it's better than it's been. It's the best we've had since I've been here.
Who do you have
And
now?
I got the museum. That we're hoping to change.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
So there was a big initiative.
Other than that.
Oh, yeah. So Carol, what are we voting on this time?
It's a revenue purpose statement for East Mills School, it's a page and a half long. You have to read so much on it. I don't know if the current one is up,
That's what I wondered, is this
and
something
they
that
have
we
to
had
renew
before?
it, but it's, they have everything but the kitchen sink on there. You might ask Lori just to see a copy of it, because it's a lot. So, it's gonna take them a while. We already in capital, just because it's a yes or no. And we're saving them the expense of using the machines, and that way, we can always get that to the easier.
No, I-
But, you know, it's hard to say. But, yeah, alright. So that's, yeah, ask Lori to see if.
Yeah, 'cause I just wondered if it's something that they had asked for and
I think, have you heard, how's that
It is,
paper,
but I
new
think they're
library,
just
how's
trying
that
to add
Oh, yeah, I've
everything
heard,
that they can,
they're, you
so
know,
that
they
they
keep
can
having cost overruns.
pretty much, so that, like I
And one of
said,
the nice
give
things
the
that's
guys
happened
more
is,
than-
I've got some pictures here,
Oh,
we were
yeah,
able to
they
throw
covered
in a
that.
whole bunch of furniture. So that just pretty much furnished them up, the only thing we weren't providing were shelves. But they just kept having these cost overruns, and, you know, they'd have a line item and say, okay, we're gonna take these things out because we can't afford them. They would get money from a grant to afford them, they say, oh, no, that's gone up twice as much as we were expecting. So then there was no place else to get that money, and so they just, but, so it keeps pushing the date back, they're supposed to be open in January, now they're looking at February, and it's just, that, the tail end. They got their furniture in now though,
Okay,
so they're really thinking February's gonna be, in February they're really gonna go. But yeah, that's, Dawn's pulling her hair out, it's going into a construction project. She was so frustrated because they had those lines, they had, paving the parking lot, you know, these detail items they couldn't afford. She went and got a grant for them, and then they're like, oh no, you know, twice as much as we said.
Yeah.
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 They're just doing that.
Yep.
Well, every time I go by, it's just beautiful. It will be such an asset
So
in the
neat.
town. It will be so neat. And then they'll knock down the old house.
I don't know what they're doing there.
Oh.
I haven't had that conversation.
Okay.
I don't think so, because I think that, she was saying that one of the things that cost overrun was asbestos removal of the old
But I know
building.
they have.
So they must be doing something, but I don't know what.
Okay.
That was one of her
Oh,
rats.
that would have been perfect. Get rid of that eyesore.
I don't know
I'm
why.
sure it's some historical. Who's who and what.
I'll take it, it's got the history.
Oh. So it looks like Silver City, Henderson, and
Henderson doesn't come, you know, they just have the reading, but. I
Who's
thought
that?
was gonna be
Henderson.
Henderson.
Okay.
So
I
Silver
talked to that
City,
gal and
and
tried to public comment.
then Rebecca said she couldn't make it, so. I offered to give everyone's presentation, so I didn't check my email this morning, no one did. Rebecca did yours 2 days ago, so. She's done that.
Close to 10 o'clock, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. Tara, if you wanna
Yeah.
lead off.
Sure, I'll start off with Rebecca's reports. You know, just like us, they're curbside, so she didn't feel like her statistics really reflect. So I just wanted to show you where she's at with her budget. And if you'll notice on the last page, she is now getting township money from Center Township. So, but she didn't have anything particular, so I'm going out to renewal letter to her. And there's some curbside for the CL feature.
So they are getting $1,000 from,
Yeah, they got two
Oh, they got 2,000, okay. Okay.
two disbursements. And I included, last year and this year, with townships. We haven't seen Ryan's yet, we usually get this month.
He's a little close.
Oh, but we're right on track, we make a little bit more, from the taxes we did last year, so, that looks good. And with my own reports, I've drawn some attention, there's been a lot of numbers here, and I've drawn some attention to some numbers I thought was of interest. And another letter, about how, we're doing the same work our compatriots are in the area, squeezed in that little building, which has been a real trial with, COVID. It's just, we're not gonna be able to open until there's a significant. We are like people in my appointment, so. But you can see with my numbers, I've got, our curbside numbers, normally we see 100 people a day, average, and that's in the winter, and summer combined, summer's usually more than 2 and so we're doing curbside service more and we're, doing between 60 and 150 a week. So one of the things I've always thought is us being a community center was one of our most important things, and that's just the one thing we can't do right now. And you see that with these numbers, that when we don't have our doors wide open, people just come in and just hang out, the numbers go way down.
Well, because you have a lot of people that come in and use the
Absolutely, and so we're doing appointments, they come in and use computers by appointment. But like, the kids can't come play Roblox all afternoon. They can't do that. We have to reduce the number of computers, to make space. The next, grant cycle, I'm gonna try and get laptops, so we can have more people using computers in the building that spread out. Because right now, the places where we have network connections are all jammed up in little tiny spaces. We've got several spaces in our library, basically every room in library, you get more than 2 people in there and there's no social distancing. You got our front parlors, you got 1 person in there, but you can't get 6 feet away, from the next person, it's not possible. So this is what we're seeing with. It's not fun, but we're able to provide all of our services curbside that we normally provide, except that community space.
So what, they call in for you to find a book and then
It is
let them know when
so
you're out?
normal touch on a book. Patron comes in, they browse, they get a book, they hand it to me, I scan it, they're gone. Curbside, they call, they may or may not know what they want, they may say, I'd like James Patterson, so can you find me something like that? I had one patron who's a very avid reader, it took me an hour to find her a book she had already read in her inspirational section. Yeah, I was really like, woo! When I found that book. So our touch now is, we have quarantine as well, our touch is up to 4 touches minimum, for each book. All returns have to be through the drop boxes, we have to do those twice a day.
So how do you wipe them off?
We quarantine. So when we had the new programming space, it is now tables for quarantine. And we have gotten some really great guidance from the Institute of Museum and Library Studies. They've done these realm projects where they have tested actual library items. So we know that we started off with doing 3 days, and we know that's correct. 72-hour quarantine. With our DVDs, we have to do 5 to 7 days. We just go ahead and do 7 days. Like fun. Since that's one of those gray areas. So we've got the tables all lined up, we label them the date they go down, and we know when they come out. It confuses patrons because they'll be overdue, and the book's sitting there, we're not touching it until it's out of quarantine, we don't check them if they come in, wait until it's out of quarantine.
Oh, okay.
But we also got rid of fines. So we say, it's okay,
Yeah, just bring that to the book.
the book's here, we'll get to it, don't worry. If they're really concerned, we'll run down and go look for it. But, because we have them all laid out, because that's the way quarantine works best. When they tried, some libraries have to use tubs, if you're using tubs, and that kind of quarantine situation, you have to more time. It's when they're all laid out, breathing, that
But you don't spray them or.
No, and the only
Otherwise
problem
that
we're gonna have moving forward is magazines, actually, after day 5, they're not a full release. And they don't know what. So.
On magazines?
Yeah, so right now, not that many magazines are going out.
So I'm curious, with the mail, that doesn't seem to be an issue, but apparently with.
Well, they're stacked. That's the thing, when you have your magazines, you don't have them all laid out, they're stacked. We have the one current issue sits up all by itself, but all the old issues are stacked. And strangely, our magazine borrowers are through the roof for some reason. I think they've doubled over the previous year. That's the opposite of the year like I know, which is the only reason I really noticed that magazine issue. Mostly our magazines, they're all going out of business. I have to get new titles in constantly to keep magazines in. I'm trying to think if there's any other interesting. I think this is probably going to be a little hard for you guys to figure out exactly what's going on. It's very much library speak. But you see, like all the programming business, we're just not doing any of that.
Hi,
Come on in,
Hold on,
come
we
on
got a couple seats, there's a couple, there's one there, there's one over here. We're good, how are you?
Rebecca from Melbourne and Mike. Oh, and I didn't want to point out, this in the back, is our salaries compared to like libraries, and honestly, our salaries are horrific. We've been working on that my 5 years here. Frequently, like if the city increases 3%, they'll give us 6. But our salaries so low, the city just gets nowhere. So the board has requested for this year that we make an actual significant increase over 3 years to get us up to for other libraries our size as part of Iowa. We haven't heard back from the city on that, but that is the only ask we've got this year, and that's for the next 3 years. That will be our focus. We've been trying, but it's not getting anywhere.
Well, it's good to see the townships are,
They are very diligent, yes, they have been very diligent.
we've had to rough them up a couple times, but other than that, it's going well.
So what's making me upset is where the hell's Walls? That's what's pissing me off.
Are they going to Tabor? With their
Not
money?
100%.
Well, where's their money supposed to be going?
I'm gonna
Chat with your trustee.
chat with my husband and, you know,
Just be careful with them trustees.
Well, right-
Don't be
right
rushing
now
the
is a good
fence.
time because he can't vote, so.
Did you have any questions for me?
Just keep up the good work. I mean, you guys, unbelievable. We appreciate it.
I don't know what we do without your librarians. Where would our kiddos go? But
Well, they're not right now.
No. Oh, we're looking forward to things get back to something normal. It's, yeah.
You can put one of these
Definitely
green
getting
chairs
old.
back and slide it around, whatever.
Yeah,
there's a chair right over there.
Oh, scooch.
Okay, who's gonna speak on behalf of Mountain?
I did.
She did already. She did
I did,
already.
I
That
did,
was the
yeah.
first. She already spoke. That
Yeah,
was it.
the sender.
Okay, Emerson.
So this is.
Well, as Tara reiterated, the counts are way down. We're operating on about 75%, but we usually only have the max of 8 people in at a time, so we're not having a big problem. We're doing the curbside too. We cut back on the kids' programs. We've been doing a lot of craft kits or project kits for kids, and we're gonna be doing more of those so they can take them home and have something to do. We're working with the STEM in Action program on that also. I talked to Scott Hillier, he's Deer Creek Township, and he is really gonna push this year to try to get them.
Still fighting on these.
Yeah,
Did
they-
you get, you did get into?
They said they'd give us 500 while at the meeting, and they gave us 700.
Good.
Good. But Deer Creek, they keep saying that they can't donate to libraries.
Yeah, and they can.
Yeah, I know.
And I've
I
been
know,
more than
I-
happy
I
to
told them
verify
that.
again. Yeah.
Libraries,
Yeah.
cemeteries,
Fire,
fire rescue,
and that's my township, so
I
can
know.
tell them.
they don't know what they're doing.
But he's gonna talk to them
Is
again.
that Jeff? The clerk?
No, I don't think, I think it's all their name.
We'll mentally adjust them if we need to.
So we're like all you guys, hoping COVID, so we can get back to normal and do more projects and more.
One thing I wanted to bring up, I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about, I've talked with Rebecca and Dawn, is we're doing some online things around summer reading, and I was thinking if we coordinated, then we could all offer different things that people could do, and maybe like have like a prize, like, okay, if you do this at Malvern and this at Glenwood and this at, then you get you know, an overall prize, like a bingo card or something like that. So we could chat about that.
And then that would get them into other libraries.
Right, it's because with summer reading, we're not able to do what we normally do. So I was thinking if because we're all doing different, like
Project.
Malvern's doing like a story time, I've got an online like earn badges thing, Tabor's got a guy, checkers guy, is funny. And that if they do each of these things, then they're doing, normally we've got something for them every week.
Well, and if they registered in too, then they could get a badge for each one. And
Correct.
if they complete all of them, then
Yeah, then a prize.
they get some sort of prize. And
Yeah.
I'll bet you somebody like Sugar Makery or somebody like that.
Absolutely,
would offer up
especially
something.
if we're doing a Mills County wide, I think it'd be super easy to get some sponsors for this, shouldn't be an issue at all. So anyway, trying to get a Zoom meeting together, but everyone's busy.
Well,
Yeah,
my
didn't mean to
hours are
interrupt.
so
Go ahead.
limited in the winter that, for the planning and things. But otherwise, we're going okay.
So any wishes that you are kind of aiming for, or you would like more of, or besides the monetary value? Like Tara
That's
said,
what I was gonna ask.
laptops, what are you good with?
We, cut down on our computers too, to make more space for other activities, and we just weren't using them as much because everybody has internet at home. But the Wi-Fi access has increased, and with that Wi-Fi counter, that's been very interesting. The Wi-Fi, that's it. So that's been interesting,
The
but
state library has given us a thing that does, we used to have to do it manually, like go onto a website and put a little, you know, mouse over a thing and see how much, but now it's automatic.
nice.
Yeah.
It's just a little tablet sits
And
there.
then, and then they send you a report every month. Very nice.
We do, it tells you how many new people have come in, how many recurring people have come in, how you comparing each month.
and it's free.
It's free. That's the best part of it.
Even the tablet was free. State library just sent it to us.
Do you guys wanna see more of the budget part of this stuff? I didn't include that, but you do.
Oh, we're always interested in knowing the budget.
Okay, next year I'll include some of the budget stuff. We are working on the other ones, the new ones are never, probably never on too. But, no, it's just kind of doing the best we can in this situation. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
The furnace works, the windows close, the doors lock. Okay.
You know, we don't ask those, it's like you go to the dentist, are you having any problems? No, no problem, and then all of a sudden you go home and all kinds of stuff, it's kind of a bad, you know, question.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Let's get it out in the open, so we know
Who's
what we're
working
saying.
today?
No, I just wanna do more stuff for kids.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing in Emerson.
You guys used to serve a pretty good population too, didn't you?
We really did.
Yes, we did, and it's,
And like you say, that's what they had.
Okay, Silver City.
Hello, I'm Valerie, I'm librarian. Liz Thomas, our board president. I can't control it. And in there, there's just a quick synopsis of what we've done throughout the year, how we've changed programming, what our programming looks like.
So your virtual story hour, they log on and
It is done on Facebook Live, so you
Oh,
can just
Facebook Live.
jump onto Facebook and watch it, or it's there for the week if you wanna get on and watch it at another time.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's been some really good responses. What did you say last time?
It's 183 with still both videos together on views.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really good.
so that's
I thought
something that
maybe you
we're
were having them to
definitely.
read story.
I could.
Yeah, she could.
And then I
She's a
can
great
make up, like,
storyteller.
bring my, you know.
Yeah. I
You
wanna
know
watch
what?
that one.
Don't be throwing that out the window.
I won't.
I think that'd be really cute.
That's what I told her, but
I bet
That
the,
is very
numbers would-
clever.
It's just same thing as regular story time that we had in winter reading program last year, just a little more online.
That's how we did our church services too.
Yeah.
Which is very handy.
And your holiday craft, how they stop by and pick up?
Yes, there's a box up in the front, everything's individually packaged, and they just stop in and they pick one up, and there's also a small little table there, and it has some other items, word searches, color pages, and it had the one page there with the mittens on it. You fill out your book on each mitten, you come back, they had a wrapped book under the tree for a prize for age group. They can stop in if they completed the mittens and get a book.
Oh my gosh.
We have 45 kids in Silver City.
Oh my gosh.
That's really good.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
We have families moving in with babies.
It's like, yes. And then we did our auction, our fundraiser, because we weren't able to have our ice cream social.
That was also all
Yeah, I noticed
virtual,
that.
online.
Yes,
Yeah, what happened to that?
we did good.
They had it online, you missed it.
I tell you what, online ice cream
3,000.
is not.
It is not as good, Richard. You have to come up the hill for that.
Or be on top of the hill to
Yeah.
connect.
Connect.
We're really fortunate to be one of the few places that did get to fundraise this year still.
Got to.
So your fundraiser was a TV?
We had the TV raffled because we got a new one through grants. So we raffled our old one. It's a wonderful TV, nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't smart TV, so it wasn't as compatible with some of the things we were trying to do for board meetings and stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah, we raffled our old one, and then there was a whole list of auction items donated. And there was donation lots, and there was also a physical form in the post office available for people who did want to physically vote for silent auction style.
Online, here. It was kind of crazy, but we made it work.
Absolutely.
We did it. I was very happy.
I was really thankful that we still got to do a fundraiser, because most places this year are not getting to do any of that. And are not getting much response for any sort of GoFundMe and stuff.
And the townships, you guys have really they have stepped up. We have $1,000 to vote, and thank you, your thank you's coming. So thank you very much, Richard. And, what's the other one over there, by Mineola? Who is that? Hugh Johnson is.
That's a
That's
East Center.
Center, okay, center, I'm sorry, so you were the center. We got yours and we got, Oak. And then Ingram, those are the 3 townships that come through for us.
Good.
And, oh,
Had you
and Ingram
never?
does put money in there?
I think those
Ingram
are our yearly
does.
regulars, but they were higher this year.
Good.
They are higher this year than last year, yes,
Yes. Uh-huh.
Good.
We were. So, and we've received some grants that we've been able to, like, we have a technology grant that we did receive this last
grant cycle.
last grant cycle, and, so we were able to get a smart TV, so with that, different programs, you can do a lot with a smart TV and bring in
They're
people.
handy.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and so we were able to get one of those, we purchased a new laptop,
Mm-hmm.
a new printer, what else did we get, were those the 3 things that we got?
I believe those are our 3 things.
Right.
Yes, because we had only written the grant for the laptop and TV, and then the printer was on clearance, there was enough
And
money
I
left
said,
over,
we
it
can
fell
get
into
this.
technology.
So we, and then we got an iPad that is used for, everybody in the library when they come in and stuff too. That's a brand new iPad, so,
It's a Chromebook.
oh, Chromebook.
We don't have to take that.
I
said
Chromebook,
What are the hours of the library? Is it every other day?
We are open 5 days a week.
5 days a
We
week?
are, Saturday and Monday are our day hours. We're open from 8:30 to 12:30. We're technically open till 1, but we've taken extra time for cleaning. So we have the extra half an hour at the end of the day each day for extended cleaning measures. And then the rest of the week, except for Thursday, we're open 2 to 6. Well, 2 to 5:30 with the 30 minutes of cleaning. And we are actually like open to the public because we have a limit of 5 people in at a time. And it's usually easy to stay within those 5.
Okay.
At a time, yeah. So what do we have usually in the day's time to come in, did it say, I can't remember.
On an average day, we go between 2 and 5. Some days more, some days less. On an average, 2 to 5 people come in throughout a day.
People just need to get out
Yeah,
and do something,
yeah.
you know, even if it's just seeing another adult type person, not in their house.
Yeah, or the 4 walls that they might be speaking to somebody too, but. I know when this all started, I called you and talked to you about, what are you guys doing for the cleaning? How are you, what are you doing? And you were, thank you for what you told us, because then I was able to bring that to our board, and then that's what we implemented.
We've
So
been getting
it's-
some really good guidance from the federal level.
Yeah, we did too from the state and everything, but then it was just kind of nice, and then I stopped down to, and you weren't there, but somebody else was there, and I visited them, just to see, because we kind of, you do a really good job too, so.
Yep, we're all over it. I've got a stack this big of all the articles
We did-
that I
yeah, we did
printed
too.
off.
That
Yeah,
was
we
a
do
special
too.
folder just for COVID cleaning. It's pink. It's
Oh.
No, I, as the board sits there, I mean, we really appreciate what you people do. I mean, it's been a tough year for everybody, but to hear you come in and tell your stories, you know, how you made things work is just amazing, so. I don't know what it's been like in a normal year, but we're gonna find out one of these days.
Yeah,
I
next
mean,
year,
really,
we are.
really we are.
Next year.
I-
Next
I
month,
have
maybe.
faith. We're-
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Julie just told us the numbers are going down, so.
Oh, good. And my daughter lives in Texas, and now they're getting the second strain, that's now that's, so that's all out. That's fun.
Texas has that?
Just the first year bubble.
I can't give Tabor's report, but I can say that we donated and like massive amount of purchases to them. With COVID, we have rearranged the entire library. We're ready to go when we let people in the building. We actually, all our social business. And so we were to the point that we're not very good, we're gonna let them in. We rearranged all the bookcases, took out a lot of chairs. We gave 25 chairs, we have 13 chairs, 6 tables, 2 computer tables, charging children's tables, because we were to the else. And what we've actually learned is we were doing it wrong anyway. People don't want to be that close in a public space. The natural social distancing for someone that you're familiar with, not threatened by, but aren't friends with, is 6 feet. So all the courses that we're going to, they're like, we should have been doing this anyway. So this isn't going to change. We made this change, it's going to stay that way. So we were able to then donate a table within the building, able to almost eliminate their.
Thank you.
Yep.
That, I
This
bet
was
that,
fantastic.
she was
She came
overwhelmed.
to, I was engaged, so I could help her with the website, and I'm like complaining, I go, it's furniture, she's like, your furniture?
Oh.
So they've taken our old chairs, which, their library furniture, they're in fantastic shape, they just reupholstered them.
So you did this with Tabor?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see pictures, that's really cool.
So we had seating for 61, and now it's down to 20.
How many?
20. And this is seating not dedicated, like not to computers, not to specific things, and so we would count the chairs, the ones that are, I use for anything.
It's really neat.
Yep, worked out great, worked out really great.
I wanna build on, I don't know if we're gonna go up or out.
Can you go back?
That's on our wish list too.
Back to, yeah.
Wasn't that
Possibly.
always the
We only have like
plan,
the
was
4
to
foot.
go on the backside?
On the right side, we have 6 feet, because there's the fire, the fire station there, but we have,
But our
The back.
setbacks-
The back, we could go, but it'd have to be adjacent,
we have a garage back there.
because if you have like 4 foot to the garage, like you open the door and you're like bumping the garage right there. But if we had like that as a hallway and had it adjacent to the garage, we could.
Can you do an L? Okay.
That's what I've been doing during this COVID, my brain just goes into projects.
How about this?
Sam's ready to go back to work for the state.
Is he? Yeah, but when they need him would be at nights, and that's when you're down, so
Yeah.
he's like, doesn't wanna get that up. It's quiet.
Steve misses it,
Oh,
but he
yeah.
said with the group that's on now,
No.
he said it wouldn't be the same.
No, it's not the
He's
same.
gotta have Sam and Shoni and
Yeah.
all those good guys, oh my god, that's just so gross. Oh.
Anyways, that's what we're doing, so I'm really proud of our little library, I mean, I
Absolutely.
stayed on as on the board, just, it's got a lot of good things going for it, I'm just really proud of what our board has accomplished and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's been a struggle, because we've had to go through librarians, and it's just been a struggle, but we're doing good.
Okay.
So thank you guys, very, very much.
Thank you guys very
Because-
much. I always said the library is the hub of the community.
It is,
If it
you know,
doesn't
these little
try,
towns,
The community
yeah,
shows it. So,
yeah, it really is, I agree with you, so, but thank you, from
Thank you.
all of us. on for the city board and for Valley.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, and we have done, I mean, I look at, we have done a lot.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just so excited.
I was actually gonna mention to you other librarians, we had gotten an invitation from the zoo last week, and they have dropped their rates a little bit, and they said we can do more than one in the same day for that one rate, as long as it was in the same area.
Is this the zoo or the insect zoo?
Zoo. I
Okay,
think,
because we're thinking about doing the insect zoo at the
maybe
same
it was
time.
the insect zoo, but I thought it was by Henry Dorley.
Okay, then it's Henry Dorley, because the insect zoo comes from Iowa State.
I thought this one was from Henry Dorley, but I can send you the information
Oh,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, we need to chat, and, because the same thing with the insect zoo, I get them over here, then they can do other libraries a lot
Yeah.
cheaper.
And it's the
And
one
you
cost
can-
for
and you can
everybody, we
cheat.
can
And
share, do
the
an
insect
outside
zoo has
program.
already changed normally the kids get to play with the cockroaches.
No, you only get a look.
Oh, I did hear on the radio this morning that there's a zoo that is giving naming rights. You can name a cockroach for a certain fee.
They do that for
They're doing it for
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. You
And
can
then
do that
they
to
do
our
that
bird.
for
Write down
Oh,
the
yeah.
and name
You're
a
right.
bird.
It's
And
just
the
that-
cockroach has been
that
going
could be
after
a project
for
for library.
Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh, I have an idea.
But I thought if we did something like that for an outdoor program.
Absolutely.
In the
And for-
summertime,
if
when
it's
it's
a
summer
stuffed
out and we
animal,
can
if
social
you
distance
wanna
an
put
outdoor
more in, you
program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we-
a venue you use outdoors?
Yes, we have a gazebo just at the corner, and we just got
Have
a
our lot.
new, picnic table in a nice little lot right next to our library, where we can easily have people tell them, bring your blanket, sit down on your blanket.
Yeah, we need to figure out,
There's your area,
we can
social
get on-
distance.
we can Zoom, so we can sit in our little libraries, but we need to
We had, I don't, did you
figure out a good
remember
time.
the author talks that we had the authors come?
We did
For
not
adults.
have any in 2020, those
Oh,
are
yeah, we did.
2019,
That was
but
true.
I have a
But we had
proposal
some
for you
coming.
for summer reading program to have one a month for adult
Good.
programming throughout summer reading,
That would be good.
because we need some more adult programming in there too.
Try to make it next.
We're missing out on
It will be good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
You can't see my smile. I asked Alex, can you tell I'm smiling? Do I have smiley eyes?
You do have smiley.
Oh, yeah, I sure do.
I seen a mask the other day, it had a chin on it. It had a smile, then it had eyelashes.
Oh, you
When they-
bad.
When they breathe, they would move and I'm going.
It does draw your attention.
Yeah, it does get your attention, but
We had a guy come in to vote during the election, and he had a baboon shades on.
Oh,
His mask
no.
with the baboon. He looked, and he looked up there, I mean, that's how you, I mean, it was so, it looked like, and he just, and he had a hat on, and it was just like, it was kinda unique. He was like, okay.
You look really good.
Thank you.
thank you.
You'll be getting your packets for,
You doing good?
Very good.
That is one thing.
Feel great.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
pizza.
And your thank yous come.
And recently.
We want?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
What?
Barb's doing good.
Yes.
Carol, I finally remembered. Got you some egg cards. Do you want me to set them?
thank you.
Here?
Right over there would be great.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Sure you do.
You get, or I gotta get? Oh, okay,
and number.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, you?
got it.
You can't recognize me from that.
No, you're incognito.
Oh, no.
All right, pull up a chair, I'll give
Yeah,
you-
we just moved crap
So
around in the
don't-
library, just bring them up too, so the grant money.
We put on the agenda, accept the retirement of Chief Deputy.
I don't have the library email on my phone, so I have to be
Well, I think we got the email. Well, we got it by email, and I thought that your names were all on there as well. Let me go and grab it.
Great, how about you? My back
max out, so I can't run
Yeah,
with
so
you
just
guys.
come up to
I run
us,
fake,
like-
take it easy.
Not with the new gun, right?
Takes me slow, right.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
Bought out a few more that are that bad.
It's better, but stupid. And then I went and sat in the gymnasium for 7 hours by itself. Fat old.
So I gotta wait.
That's yeah, I do too. It's just around the house stuff that drifted. That's what got me.
Where you got kids?
Shit. They were stupid. Everyone else is making money.
I was gonna say, yeah, 'cause you're getting paid.
I can go buy your shovels. They're reviewing their shovels.
Just get your cut.
Parent tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, parent cut, yeah.
Oh.
You guys get your shot yet?
We
No.
qualify.
Oh, you don't
We
qualify?
we'll be the last.
They do now.
We do have a signed one, but, I'm just gonna put that one until she gets to the bottom of her pile to find it.
Okay.
No, we just put it in the file. Nobody has had it.
I asked Dr. Barron this morning, and he said everybody that's both with Pfizer and Moderna,
Knock
the
you
second
down.
shot, you're gonna be down in about 24 hours.
I was gonna say, Laura was saying that, friends of theirs, he's a firefighter in Santa Bluffs, and they alternated groups, and even got back to the station, it was all, everything was going, and then they all were, so in each section of the first, everybody has it, it's like, it really, it gives you a false thought when you take the first one, thinking, and then the second one comes, and it's like, ooh, lots of,
Talked to a lady yesterday that came over, she was called to get the shot. And I asked the person, she was sitting there. All the deputies and everybody had been done. They give her a shot.
oh, she went to sleep. She went to sleep.
Yeah, she went.
Zeta?
Yeah.
Zeta from Auburn,
Yeah, she did.
Passed out,
She
right?
says-
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But she says, when I woke up, I'm fine. Well, I said,
Well, I'm glad
I
you
mean,
woke
I
up.
thought it was, yeah,
Jeez.
I'm glad you did, but I'm going.
Anxiety, don't hold
Yeah.
your breath. Pass out.
Yeah, she was walking in the door when I walked out after I got mine.
You had the second already?
No, just first. My wife just got her second. She works at the VA hospital. And she came home and said, "Oh, my arms hurt, never hurt like this before." And about 4, I got up really excited to meet Dr. Bear in the jail this morning. 4:30 in the morning. She's shivering. She's like, "I gotta call into work. I can't go."
Yep.
You're coming to work.
It just sounds, what a shot does that to you?
Well, I'd like to think that everyone's different, but apparently they're not.
No.
If everyone's getting it, it's pretty much.
Well, and they say it's pretty immediate too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a whole lot of in between time to, so I'm thinking,
Exactly right.
I see.
so don't all do them on the same day.
Yeah.
The key word there is don't all do
Rotate,
them on the
yeah.
same day.
We might have to,
Yeah,
we're
alternate.
scheduled for the same day, same time.
Oh, that may not work.
They're right next door now, so it's pretty convenient.
Okay, does someone wanna make a motion to accept the resignation or retirement of chief deputy?
It's official, you
It's-
have
I
it?
was gonna say,
Yeah, it is,
It's got it.
effective the 11th, I believe, isn't it?
It says January 11th, would be my
Yeah.
last working day.
Got the target motion.
and I will second it.
Been a motion made and seconded to accept the discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Motion carries. Okay, request permission to appoint chief deputy.
So we found, okay, so they're requesting, okay, to appoint Josh chief deputy effective January 31, 21. How you like that, 31, 21?
That's the.
And his salary would-
Galloway as well.
Yeah.
I don't look at that.
I think, might have, yeah, 68,203, yeah, so there's,
This is effective.
January 31.
I make a motion to request permission to appoint the new chief deputy on January 31.
At salary of,
Supervisor salaries, 28,000.
I second it.
Thought it was 28.5 now.
It's coming back to you on the end.
68,203,00.
Been a motion made and seconded to appoint Josh England chief deputy, starting 1/31/21, at a salary of $68,203. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Aside from your office, like maybe on other years as well.
I'm not even sure that you, but it's,
Yeah, that's fine.
I think, I think you can, or, I can,
I know Pine County Sheriff swore in their chief.
I think you
so-
can, yeah.
I gotta recall anyone, Lyle or anybody sworn.
So, yeah, I can get you that,
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I can get that for you.
Yeah, I was waiting.
So how many years, Josh, have you been?
With Mills County? Mills County in June, I'll have 12 years. 19 years total in law enforcement. That's
And you were in?
Atlantic, Iowa, and then Monroe County, Florida.
What county did you say?
Monroe County.
Oh.
Florida Keys.
Oh, not Monroe County, Iowa.
No, Monroe
Ah.
County, Florida.
And you came here?
Yeah.
Why?
To Atlantic.
Yeah, why? Yeah,
Both of them, I made more money than I did as a deputy down there in Iowa.
Really?
and you didn't have to wrestle an alligator?
And I can tell you, in all honesty, my wife and I had a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment about this size for both of them. We paid $1,400 a month before utilities. And it's just gone,
It made less.
yeah, it made a lot less. I had to work 2 12-hour overtime shifts per pay period just to pay bills. And if you wanted money to go out and you had to work to have money, well, then you don't have any days off.
Your wife's a nurse.
She wasn't a nurse at the
Not
time,
now.
no, she worked in a bank at the time, now she's back to school now because she's getting her doctorate in nursing, so.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of open availability in
Oh.
nursing, in the healthcare for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Auditor request permission to hire a deputy.
Backfill in the spot.
You advertise or you have something done already?
We're gonna go certified, see how that goes. We already have a couple that are waiting, see what happens. So we thought we'd open it up that way first. Obviously, we don't have any qualified, we'll open it up outside.
You're saying, okay, you're saying advertise,
Adver-
for a certified,
Advertise,
for a certified,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Right.
I was gonna say, aren't you guys
Same
all
accounting
certified
school.
anyway inside?
And
Okay.
you're advertising for a certified,
Yeah, somebody's already, I love certified.
I'd make the motion to give permission to
I
advertise
second
for
that.
deputy.
Got a second down there?
Yes.
Is a motion made, seconded? Give permission to the sheriff to hire a new deputy,
To advertise,
or advertise.
how many times when it comes back.
and what's the salary on that?
be lower for the first 6 months because he'll still be on probation if he is certified.
It will be 52,953. 53? 52,953. And then after 6 months, if that jumps up to 3%.
It, well,
Oh, how does that?
it's,
It's a probationary period.
it's, yeah, the
Oh,
probation
okay.
period.
But after that, it does go up to,
That'll be after the July 1st.
so that,
And is that the required salary you have to start them at? If,
that's
You're
what's,
getting a
yeah, you need
certified-
contract,
okay, that's the
yeah.
way it says, okay.
They come in, I think whether they're certified or not, they all come in at that, but if they're certified, we do a 6-month contract or a 6-month probationary period. If they're not certified, you gotta go through the academy, we do a year probationary period.
Motion made and seconded. Sheriff permission to advertise. He's looking at either certified or personal people. And the starting salary for any of them would be the 52,000. 953. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Equipment for a new vehicle or for a vehicle.
So the truck that was handed down to me from Sheriff Hughes, initially I looked at wanting to get a new vehicle because I plan on working as much as I can. I'm not at the office, I'm not being out there. It was not set up for police work, it wasn't safe, it didn't have the proper equipment. I met with Jones Automotive, they came down, met with me. These are the bare basics to get it up and running as a police vehicle. This is a quote from Jones. Total is $64,0986. And that includes basically just the lights to make it safe so I don't get rear-ended or sideswiped. Big amount of the quote was to have that MDT mounted inside the truck, just like the cruisers have, which is where that's supposed to be now. Currently I carry it in my backpack wherever I go in case I need it, but it should stay in there. It's a docking station, so there's quite a bit of electronics and stuff involved with that as well. Other than that, it's a big push bar for the front of the vehicle, like I said, light. So it's
That's your first part for vehicles.
for anything.
Pushing
cars.
Replace, and it also saves them from having to replace a piece of the bumper that's missing off that truck for a while.
Bumpers?
We tore off the part and threw it back of the truck, so that's where it was. The push bar, my research, is cheaper than that replacement part. Again, there's no bells and whistles here. This is simply bare bones that we can get, make it safe, and make it function as a police vehicle. It actually runs really well. Other than the bump missing, the face underneath the front, looks really nice. And so, as much as I would be driving it, it'd be a lot cheaper to keep that, right, to drive, and then just kind of up, some lights and things to buy a whole new vehicle.
Absolutely. So this Jones Automotive, are they the ones that do all the?
Usually,
Yes, and so we went to Kyle's for Carl's, I'm sorry, for a little while, and I'm not happy with them at all. So Jones Automotive is who I dealt with in Omaha back when we started K9, we outfitted all the SUVs with them. And so I was hand in hand with them on building these cars. I really like them. They went through a growing spurt of building another shop, so the customer service kind of lacked, which I think is why Sheriff Hughes decided to try somebody else. But the issues we've had with Aces Durango, I don't want anything to do with them anymore, so we're gonna try and go back to Jones Automotive. They're in-house, they're local, they come to us if something broke, instead of being out of the way.
And how soon can they do this?
I can, if the board approves it today, I'll call them today, and then he said probably within a week they can go ahead and get started on it.
Okay. And you've got this in your budget?
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to, give permission to purchase the equipment for the vehicle of the,
What is that? It's, what year?
2016 Chevy Silverado.
thank you,
Okay.
2016.
Long cab. It's got 70, just over 70,000 miles on it.
second that. Motion made and seconded to approve purchase equipment for the vehicle, to make it roadworthy,
Operational, yes, sir.
operational, whatever you want to say.
Safe.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Moving to appoint jail supervisor.
And this is where, well, and this is where it can happen. So here's the problem. Number one, it's not in the, it's not, that position has never been approved by the board of supervisors to have that. We have nothing in the board minutes where anyone from the sheriff's office ever come and said, can we have this position? So first and foremost, the position has to be approved to be added to the budget. They
So
can be
it's
said,
put in the budget, but not, you know, about it, saying.
well, if it was put in there, we weren't aware of it. That's the problem. I mean, that was not, yeah. So I looked back through everything. The board has never received anything asking to have that position filled. Second thing you have to do is, if the board approves that position, second thing you have to do is you have to repost it because of the veteran preference thing for 10 days.
Okay, even though we've already posted it.
It's recent because you did it in August.
Kim did it August 31st.
Yeah, and I sent all that to, whatchamacallit, Galloway's office, and he said, yes, it still has to be reposted again. Because of the veteran benefit situation.
Even though we don't have any veterans.
And I said it was internally posted, so I don't,
Yeah, it's not gonna be
you don't have
outside.
any
There's
veterans
not
in
one
there?
veteran.
Well, we can ask that question then. I mean, I don't, yeah,
Yeah,
I will ask that question, since it's an internal post.
Yeah, I could see it was outside post.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I had said it, I thought I indicated it was, but.
We do have it in our budget. We did budget it last year. In the jail budget. So we have all of our ducks in a row as far as job descriptions.
Currently, it's never presented to you folks, I guess, is my understanding. So I guess today, what we'd like to do is go ahead and present it to you, to take into consideration. It'd be internal, it'd be a motivation to move up within the structure of the jail. Hopefully, it will help with retention, things of that nature.
Well, they're requesting approval, I mean, if it's a discussionary, I mean, they can provide you information.
So what do you think this supervisor's supposed to do besides the jailer?
So basically, they would assist with scheduling, they'd be more of a lead jailer to go to with questions or concerns. Basically, it would be a step before having to go to Josh. Josh has got a ton on his plate now in the jail, from the deputy side of things. It would give them a chance for promotion, it would help with retention of the personnel, in my opinion, if they make a little more money, have a little more responsibility, than be, as a supervisor spot, just with more responsibilities. To still do the same thing they were always doing, but be kind of a
So
go-to.
who did this supervisor job?
We've never had one.
So Kim did the
They-
scheduling.
Yeah, Kim has actually done it all. But the way my understanding the sheriff wants is he still wants me to be involved with the road and still do the jail. Well, Kim pretty much had nothing to do with the road when it came to it. The only time we ever had to go to Kim is if Ryan and I weren't available as sergeants. If Gene was unavailable, then we went to Kim. My understanding is the sheriff still wants me as much as possible to be out helping the deputies and stuff like that. So when it comes time to do orders, we gotta do food orders for all the different supplies. I mean, I spent the last week trying to find supplies in the jail. We had statters in there fixing some leaks. They're like, hey, you need to order these parts. Well, I spent probably 4 hours pulling my hair out trying to find these parts anywhere because it's 6 different parts that got no part number on it. Hoping to God I ordered the right one. And that's stuff that, I can have a jail supervisor would be doing instead of me back there trying to find it. Kim used to get calls 24 hours a day, hey, so-and-so's acting up, can I move them to isolation? Well, that's something the supervisor can make that decision, yeah, move them to isolation. It pretty much kind of like be a sergeant, except they're in the jail, not out on the road. They can make the supervisor decision, hey, he needs to be locked down. Can we get calls 24 hours a day? Can I bring this person to jail? So.
And the position is laid out in our civil service for Mills County, so it's not.
They've had to have had one at one point, because it's in the civil service board, and that had to be prior
Previous to
to.
2017.
Yeah.
Oh, so they used to have a supervisor.
It's been laid out, yeah.
I mean, I don't know who was that person before.
I want to say way back when, I thought it was, Bill,
Oh, Bill?
Simmons.
Yeah, Bill.
Bill Simmons.
Bill,
Yeah, Wild Bill.
No, it's just Bill. It's just Bill. Oh.
I met Bill, he's out there.
Yeah, Bill's an okay guy. He pops in every now and then.
Then also, I know the way they had it, the way Kim and Jean had it set up is they were looking to do one supervisor moving does what, it's like 60 something, 65%. And, and I sat down with the sheriff and I looked at that and moving one person up from where they're at now to 65%, there's no way if, we get these approved, you guys would ever give me a second one, because we're not gonna be able to get that much money. So we sat there and discussed, well, let's do this, let's take what they've already budgeted for one, split it in half, now I got two for the price of one.
Look at that one on the
Which is-
overnight shift.
Yeah, a daytime
So
supervisor.
what's the salary that you're looking at?
7%.
Okay, do you have a dollar?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not only requesting one, you want two of them.
Correct.
Having one,
45,736.
Say that again.
45,736
Times two.
times 2.
Interim.
Correct,
Yes,
it would be
not
internal, it's not gonna be an out, because it's gotta be somebody that knows how to run the jail now, I can't have somebody from the outside. I don't know what to do, so,
And it lays out in the civil service board what qualifications they have to have in order to be
and
that.
job description, what they have to do.
They're already jailers that we have, they'll still be doing their same job, instead of giving someone a $16,000 raise, we can split it, and each get an $8,000 raise, now we have two supervisors, one to cover the overnight shift, one to cover the days.
Are you still short in jailers too,
Uh,
or not?
The application period closed Friday, I just got everything back from dispatch, I'm gonna sit down, when we're down here, I've gotta go through, weed out who we're gonna interview, who we're not. I know I've got 5 jailers right now that applied for Pot County. So, I'm gonna,
Pretty much.
I'd imagine I'm gonna lose at least 2 of them, without a doubt. Pot County, if you're pretty down now to take these 2 right off the bat, so. So that's gonna put us probably back down 4, Biggest problem is, it's the pay. The one person actually told me, she's like, hey, I want you to know, I applied to Pot County, it's nothing against you, but she's like, I can go up there, I already live in Council Bluffs, 3 miles from the jail, I'm
Oh,
driving all the way down here, and I can start up there with almost a $17,000 pay raise from what I'm making from Mills County going up there, I'm like, I don't blame you.
Great.
I'll bring it on that one.
Same job, money talks a lot, so,
Those are the juvenile detention too, that across the river.
absolutely. Yeah.
Are you guys on the deputy line with that, in line with what others are? Are you guys?
Yeah, it's,
So those are definitely some, issues you need to work on with the, union. Because next year is the union contract's up.
yeah. So, should be after July, January sometime, we can just start negotiating. But absolutely, you look at, I think Pot County deputies level out at $72,000 or $73,000, somewhere right in there, 72 and some change is what their deputy is. Our deputy down here makes 56,000. We
What-
going up.
I was gonna say, what's the difference in did you say in the jailers part?
The jailers,
$7.
it's almost $7 and something an hour just for the jailers. Yeah. So
So we're comparing apples and oranges, how about Fremont County, what do they think about it?
that I don't know right off the top of my
What
head.
we're gonna start doing is trying to get some comparables, 'cause we
Yeah.
want some hard, I don't wanna give you any figures
Yeah.
at this point, 'cause I don't wanna give you any misinformation, but we plan on getting all the comparables that we can, similar size, that nature.
you know, Pop County. They-
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Brent, and like, I know Fremont County, their jailers are dispatchers as well. They do both. We don't have that because our facility is separated. You can't have somebody that's supposed to be dispatching back there, dealing with MH, stuff breaks
That's right,
off.
they are in the middle of that, aren't
Yep.
they?
They're in the bubble,
Yep.
they're in that bubble.
If I'm not mistaken,
Montgomery is.
as far as the
Montgomery's
deputy,
the same way.
deputy side of things, I think Glenwood PD had more people than we do. We covered the entire county and Glenwood. So, yeah, definitely things that's further down the road, obviously. We'll get some information together.
But I've got 13 jail staff back there, and there's not one supervisor. Other, basically, so I'm fielding calls 24 hours a day on stuff that an actual supervisor could say, yeah, go ahead and do this.
But when Kim left for the day, who took over through the night?
Kim, she took the calls
She was at
24 hours.
24/7.
Just like he is now.
Is that on the whole?
I'm strict on command structure, following the chain of command, it's not my thing, which is why it's a tough position for me to both at the same time, because he's not available, they think they can skip him and come. You know what I mean? And that's the way it's been in the last year or 2 years. Shop sergeants, I know Josh won't be a day off last month. Brian's not your supervisor, Josh is. That's the way I expect it to be. The chain of command in place for a reason. I expect you to follow the things for help. Help with that as well.
Yeah, I know for instance, I can bring up like one time I know Kim was at a jail school or something, and she basically said, hey, I'm gone for the next 3 days. If you want time off, you have to put in for it before I go. Well, technically, you don't really have to, and if they honestly want to file a grievance with the union, they probably win it. You know, I'll end up having to go to jail school and I'm gonna be gone for a week. Well, I'm the only one that can bring the schedule. If somebody else said needs a comp-ed, you know. I don't know about it, you know, so who approves it? It doesn't. Now technically they have a grievance and they're gonna win it because they didn't get the day off, because I think the way it sets up, it has to be answered within 48 hours. I have to double check. It's either 24 or 48 hours, and what do you do? That's somewhere where a supervisor can say, okay, yep, I can adjust the schedule.
So we're gonna do, we're gonna act on this today, next week? Is that okay with y'all
We-
first?
Probably better look and see if they're a better position. I mean, like, in or what. Because, like I said,
How long ago has it been since Bill left?
Was he considered a supervisor? I don't know what.
I
I
know
don't-
that he would,
I don't know
he
what
would have been the
Bill
last person, because that's kind of what he did over there, you know,
but I don't know what.
but I don't know really what his title was or anything, so. Do you remember all
He had
that?
the most years, I think.
Yeah, I remember everybody went to him when they had
And he
questions
was a
about
union
stuff.
guy
Yeah,
too, and
yeah.
everything, yeah. We could look and see what.
And we know
We'll have to go
it had
back.
that because it's in the civil service. And we met with them yesterday morning about exactly what it was. Sooner we can act the better, but I understand it take your time.
Well, and I need to find out too about the 10-day post thing too, because if, you know, if it's already, if it's just internal and there isn't anyone, you can waive that.
I would say put it on hold for another week, get all the ducks in a row for everybody. Is that all right?
So, and on that, what do you need from us next week? Just make sure that
Salaries,
so
Just the letters.
do you have the letters?
I have the letters, so they'll still be good. Because January 31st will still be good.
Okay, and I'll check into, I'll go look through his file and see what if we've got
You
any
ever had the
rabbits, so,
title,
yeah,
so to speak?
yeah, exactly.
Very good. Thank you all. Appreciate
Get
it.
to their office for more fun stuff. Interviews now.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, guys.
I'll do this right back.
Okay.
Carol, I'll just put these on your desk.
Just throw on my chair.
Yeah.
That's not full. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Chair, not desk.
So you do that times the benefits, times the insurance, so
Well, they already have. You're just getting, they already have the insurance. It's people that are already there, so they already are holding the position.
Like a little, like
Yeah,
a little bit,
I get that, that's what
and the salary.
and the, yes, and the salaries. So it's interesting that they've got 90,000 in there. Something was 55 last time, so. It's in there, it's good enough. So why did you cut out your overtime? You went
I
back.
just,
Well,
goose never,
we're gonna have to get specific on how many do you have of your employees? How many contracted, do this, how many, what is your impact? Because I couldn't get to know there's one, because there is.
What's the advisory
Way
contract?
to control that if you take one out of rural services, right, car.
Well, he's already done,
Right, but I mean, that's where you put it.
well, that's what the intent is, to start a new person.
We don't pull a car out on a person, we say, we're gonna pay $80,000.
You pick which one. There's a car,
Whatever it was.
this is all based off that, not just that, the prisoners.
Yeah. Give him bread and jelly.
All right, what's the advisory contract?
This is cost advisory, she accidentally left the word off, it's that cost allocation plan that we get money back,
Yeah, this is where we get all the money back.
I make a motion to approve that.
I second it.
Motion made, seconded to authorize chair to sign cost advisory